plotting points on a coordinate plane. When we look at this coordinate plane, we first realize that it has been divided into 4 equal parts. I'm going to redraw those 4 parts here to show you a pattern that does exist. This we know is our x-axis. This is the y-axis. The upper right-hand corner is our first quadrant, and every point in that quadrant has both a positive x-coordinate and a positive y-coordinate. Remember, right and up were both positive. When we come here working counterclockwise, this is our second quadrant. This one we would go left and up. Left was negative, up was positive. So all our answers in the second quadrant should be negative, positive. Our third quadrant goes left and down. That's our negative, negative quadrant. And our fourth quadrant is right and down. That's our positive, negative quadrant. So when we plot a point, if we start off with a positive, negative number, we know that we should be in the fourth quadrant. Let's try to plot a point. Let's say we want to plot point A at -3, 2. Just by looking at the negative and the positive, I know that my answer should be in the second quadrant. I'm going to start at the origin, right here. -3, remembering this is my x and this is my y. I'm going to go -3 on the x-axis. This is the x-axis. This is my y-axis. So if I go -3, I'm here. But then I need to go up 2. 1, 2. My point goes right there, and I can label that point A. So I started at the origin, I moved over to the left 3 and up 2, and I did end up in the second quadrant, which is my negative positive quadrant. Let's try to plot another point. Let's plot point B at 4, -2. When I look at this, I'm going to go right back to the origin. I have to go +4. Remember, we start off on the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then I need to go -2. 1, 2. My point for B ends up here. I've gone +4, -2. Positive, negative should be in the fourth quadrant. That's where I am. This information helps you check your work. Let's try one more. Let's try point C at -4, +3. Again, starting at my origin, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. I put my point there. I label it C. Point C is -4, +3. I'm going to do one more and make point D 0, -3. When we plot this, we're going to start at the origin and go nowhere, because we go nowhere on that x-axis. So we don't go right or left at all. We just go down 3. That would be labeled point D, and it's not considered in any of the 4 quadrants. We say it's on the y-axis. It's not in quadrant 4 because you wrote that in quadrant 4. It's on the axis where the point is. So be careful. Remember to go right or left first, then up or down. If it has a 0 first in the x part, you go nowhere and just go up and down.
I like to demonstrate plotting points with coordinates on a graph. We have the x-axis and the y-axis. When you move in this quadrant, the upper right-hand quadrant, it's plus x plus y. When you get down to the lower right-hand quadrant, it's plus x minus y. When you get to the lower left quadrant, it's negative x, negative y. And when you go to the upper left quadrant, it's negative x plus y. Now I'd like to show this on this milling machine. We have this zeroed out. Now what I'm going to do, notice on the digital readout, I'm moving in the y, positive y, and now I move in the x. You see it's moving in the positive x position. So now I'm in the upper right-hand quadrant over here, and both numbers are positive. Now I'm going to go to the lower right-hand quadrant. Now notice the minus in the y, and I'm going to be turning now in the y direction, and watch the digital readout as it crosses the 0 line, the y x-axis. Now notice it's negative. Now we're in the negative. So now we have positive x, negative y. Now I'm going to go in the x direction, and it's going to change to negative x and negative y. I'm going to turn it. Now watch what happens as they cross the y-axis. And there it is. Now we'll turn negative. And now the numbers are both negative. I'm in the lower left-hand quadrant. So both numbers are in the negative. Now I'm going to go up into the upper left-hand corner and move in the y-axis. Again, notice what happens on digital readout as I cross the x-axis. The numbers turn positive. Now I have a negative x and a positive y. And as I stated earlier, all machines that move in the x and the y use these positions for x and y. I'd like to show you two other machines that use a coordinate system. This is a CNC punch press. It can cut up to 1/4 inch thick aluminum, 1/8 of an inch thick steel, and 0.075 thick stainless steel. It can punch out 600 holes a minute. This part was cut out in 2 minutes. Let's look at one more CNC machine that uses the X and Y coordinates. This is a plasma cutting machine. Plasma cutting systems use a pressurized conductive gas to cut electrically conductive materials. The high pressure gas flow forces out the molten metal, and the part is cut according to the programmed shape. I tried to show you just a few practical applications where machines use the coordinate systems. And it's important to understand the X and the Y and what positions they are in the different quadrants. And remember, someone has to program these machines. And there's thousands and thousands of these machines around the world, and there's thousands of programmers that make excellent money because they understand the coordinate system and how to program these machines on computers so the machines will obey the instructions and produce the respective parts that they want to get out of the machine. And they move in the X and the Y, and some machines they move in the Z, so you can get three-dimensional shapes out of machines. And so it's important to understand and learn the coordinate system.
Please pause the video now and complete the problems in your workbook. When finished, press play, and we'll continue with the next lesson.